So I'm going to start today with a weird story. A couple of years ago, I was working at a Jersey Mike's and, I'm standing behind the counter and I was ringing someone up and this customer comes up to me. And in the store, of course, we play like generic restaurant, radio, a bunch of like pop songs from 80s to early 2000s. And it's like the same 50 and they just play on loop, of course. And the song Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls was playing. And the customer, we finished making his sandwich and I'm ringing him up, I'm pretty sure, and he just starts talking to me, chatting with people. The store was pretty empty, so we weren't in a rush or anything. And he was just like, man, a song like this would never be made today. And, I'm kind of nodding along to be nice to the customer. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'm not going to disagree or anything. Like, yeah. And then he goes, no, like really think about it. The lyrics, like, I don't want the world to see me. I just want you to know who I am. Like, if someone said that today, people would be like, oh man, like, get your stuff together. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, that's cringe kind of a thing. But he loved the song. And he was like, but we think of this song as like a masterpiece, just because it's from a little bit of an earlier time and everyone knows it. And it's kind of, has this like emotion to it and that whole thing. And he was just like, it's kind of sad. I mean, he told me he was in his 50s. He was like, yeah, I look at the world my kids are growing up in. And like people would be scared to do something like that, to make a song like that now. And I was standing there at work, thinking, and I'm like, wait, he's kind of right. I think that we as a society have gotten way too comfortable with this whole like idea of being too nonchalant or that trying at anything is somehow uncool, right? And I saw this when I was in school. There's kind of this social pressure that you don't really want to seem like you're trying too hard. You don't want to be the teacher's pet. You don't want to be, the goody two shoes, whatever. You don't want to seem like you're really putting in effort and care about your own future. You're supposed to seem like chill and like laid back. Why? Literally, there's no reason. There's no reason why. We just kind of came up with this and it doesn't do anything. Like, I'm so serious. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't actually help you build a better future. It doesn't really make you more, attractive to people in general, right? More opportunities will not come to you is what I'm saying. If you're just kind of take a back seat, like let no one know that I actually care or try at anything, because it makes you boring. If you, and I think this example became a little bit more stark in the difference between high school and college. Moving from high school to college, those who try and those who tried in high school, even at something, even if they got made fun of, stand out. The life that you are able to build becomes exceptionally better by orders of magnitude if you're willing to try. Because everything, as soon as you're an adult especially, it's no longer handed to you. And what I mean by that is that opportunities for things you often have to go find, right? There's a big difference between your high school forcing you to do X amount of homework and your summer, high school job. And then when you start having to think about your major, your career, grad school, what that's going to look like, creating a mentor out of one of your professors or really requesting them to be your mentor. The students who stand out are the ones that become really exceptional, and that lets you build a whole range of opportunities and network that you would never have otherwise. And this applies to everything. I'm talking about professional setting. I'm talking about career. I'm talking about academics. I'm talking about, relationships and dating. Putting yourself out there in all aspects of life will get you way further as a whole than trying to act too cool to do anything. Trying to act like you don't really care about anything. Trying to act like you don't care about yourself. Because if you don't care about yourself, who else is going to? Genuinely, think about that for a minute. If you're not willing to show that you value your own time and your own skills and your own abilities to really try, why do you expect other people to care about those skills and abilities and values? I think this is a weird analogy, but I have a friend who's a basketball player. And what he told me is that one of the most disrespectful things as an athlete is when he's losing, if his team is losing, is when the other team stops trying. When the other team stops trying, what they're saying is that I no longer respect you as an athlete enough to compete against you. Let that sink in for a second. If you're not trying, you're doing that to your own academic career, dating, you're doing that to your own future. You're telling yourself that you don't respect yourself enough to compete, to put your hat in the ring, to try, to fail, to get up, to learn something. Let's get rid of this whole let everything come to you, be laid back, be too nonchalant, you're too cool for everything. Start trying. Start trying. You will create a life that is filled with joy and that has so many more opportunities. I promise you will have so many more opportunities if you start trying. Respect yourself enough and think about what you really want out of your own future. Respect your own future enough to start trying. Thank you guys for watching. Get out there, put yourself out there. Do something new, do something challenging, do something crazy, do something good. Start trying. This is Pro Game Knowledge.